Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to discuss with you a paranormal experience that I had once, and this one is called the Haunted Death Bridge. So first I will give you a little bit about the legend, or what's known about that area and that bridge, and then I'll get into the experience and the story that happened between some friends and I when we were doing an investigation at this bridge, and it's pretty freaky. So basically, legend has it that there's this old bridge way out, basically in the middle of nowhere. And so this bridge has been there for decades. I can't tell you how long, but I know it goes way back, like even probably to the 40s, 50s. It's a really old bridge. So as the legend goes, if you're on this bridge on a really dark and stormy night, the chances of hearing, seeing, experiencing, feeling some sort of paranormal entity or ghostly sighting is highly prevalent. And basically, when you go down this bridge, the spirits that had once died there will haunt you. So there has been known documented stories about this bridge where people have drove out to, experience the ghostly entities, and where their car wouldn't start. They were hearing voices. They saw handprints. Even it goes as far as to say some people have even disappeared at this location. Plus, there was also used to be back, years ago, after you cross the bridge, there's this campground. And at the campground, they used to have, cabins, and people would come out, and there's a lake back there. But now it's demolished pretty much. There's no cabins left. It's fallen apart. It's been probably now, of course, especially 20, 30 years since anyone had really been out there and straightened the place up. When we first got there, we first drove up to this bridge, and the first thing we saw was just a fog, like a mist, just going straight across this bridge. So we began to drive slowly across this bridge, and we were checking out, the left side, the right side, and you couldn't see anything because it's jet black out there. And this bridge is slightly somewhat elevated from the ground, like a wooden bridge. It's hard to describe. So as we're going across this bridge, we heard something, and we wasn't sure what it was because it sounded kind of like a crackling type of sound. When we crossed over the bridge, finally got to the other side of the bridge, we noticed that once you cross the bridge, there's literally no more going forward. All you can do is basically turn around and go back. So what we did was parked our car. So we were sitting around and we were talking and planning and kind of getting our ideas of what we wanted to check out first, things like that. We had our notebooks and stuff out. And as we're just kind of contemplating these ideas, we, sensed this, or saw in the peripheral, this misty figure literally walk across that bridge. Because we're standing here, the bridge is, to our left, and we had parked the car kind of to the right of the bridge. That's probably really hard to imagine, so I apologize for that. But anyway, we're standing there, and so the bridge is like facing our side, and we saw this mist shape. Now this did not look like the original fog that we saw when we first drove up. This had more of a figure type shape, cloudy, misty type of shape, a ghosty shape, more or less is what it totally looked like. But this was within seconds, probably not even a second, and in the peripheral. So sometimes that can play a little bit of games with you seeing things in your peripheral. A little misty figure that we saw right over to our right disappeared within a matter of seconds, as I said, and me and a couple others saw it too. We were like, whoa, wait, did you see that? And they're like, yeah. It's like, oh my god, I wonder if this is that woman that they talk about in the white dress, or is this that other couple, because it was supposedly a couple that had drove off the road. It was like a mom, dad, and a sister. They ended up driving off the bridge and crashed, and their car blew up and they died, and it was just a traumatic event. But people have claimed to have seen a little girl there carrying a teddy bear. That's something else I have yet to mention yet. I forgot to mention that earlier, but yeah. So we were not sure what that could have been, but we knew we saw something. So we got our flashlights, had our audio recorder going, and we decided to head down the bridge to see and check it out. Now when we got to where we saw this misty shape, there was Obviously, it wasn't there anymore, and there was no indication that we could see that there was a spirit there. But as we were walking back, I remember looking down on the ground, and I saw this particular rock, okay? And this rock was kind of calling out, kind of had this feeling like, pick me up. So I looked down, and I reached down to grab it, and as I did, I grabbed it, and it was this black jet. And it's in the shape of a triangle. So it just seemed like this was some sort of a message. This was a sign, this was a message. And so we knew, like, okay, I'm going to get this, and we're going to do some psychometry on it and see what messages might come from that, okay? So we went back to the campsite. I showed everyone what we found. A lot of people were really tripping over it. You know, the few others that were there, because they just did not, they were like, where'd you get that? Oh, that's just a rock. You know, some of them were just saying it's just a rock. I'm like, no, this is jet, I know. As we were there in front of the campfire, and I was sitting there, and I was holding this jet in my palm, focusing and concentrating and just, you know, doing psychometry, letting it tell me or share with me its vibes, its energy. As that's going on, I begin to see this misty, cloudy shape in a figure of a person standing like 3 feet, 4 feet back from where we were, next to a tree. And I'm just kind of just zoned out, you know, just in the mode, in that moment, experiencing this. And as I'm holding this and I'm getting these vibes, you know, this is hard to explain, but I'm getting these vibes, you know, kind of going through my arms, shooting up. It's like electricity vibes, and it shoots up and it tells me, walk over, everything is fine, and look. I follow the voice, the spirit that was trying to communicate to me. I followed the voice. I walked over to the tree. You know, the spirit had done disappeared after I started to walk that way. I walked that way. I got next to the tree, and I looked down, and it was literally like an edge of a cliff, to fall off. And, you know, it's like, that was what's going through my mind, is like, okay, so this is where it was like, it's safe, it's okay, look, just look. And I tried to look down just a little bit, and I didn't see anything. Got my flashlight, looked down into this cliff, this long, ever-going, endless-looking pit, and I didn't see anything. I ran back, told some of my friends, you know, I'm having this experience, and I explained it to them, and I'm like, can you know, one of you come over here and kind of just spot me? I'm going to try to climb down slightly and see if I can see anything down there. I'm down here and I'm looking. I'm shining the flashlight around. I'm looking. I'm really thinking. I'm holding this, seeing if any more signs or messages come out that the spirit wants to communicate, because obviously this was connected to the spirit there. I'm holding it, and I don't know quite how long it lasted or how long I was there looking, but within a matter of it seemed like a matter of a few seconds, I started to slide. Okay, and that really was scary, because I did, you know, obviously we can't see how far down the cliff goes, so I start to slide. My friend grabs my hand, helps me pull me back up. I'm still trying to struggle to climb back up this cliff. Okay, it's quite freaked out. He's yelling, hey, to the others, you know, to come help, and it's like they didn't hear us. They never came. They never responded. So at that point, we're not focusing on why they're not coming. We're just like, come on, we got to get you out of here, you know, because how far deep could it have went? I don't know. So he's pulling me up, and as he pulls me up, I'm okay. I feel this elevation on my feet, And you know, at that time, I wasn't thinking I gotta look down and see who's helping me. I just thought, thank you, you know, for the help. And he's pulling me up. This spirit is pushing me up. And eventually I get back up and I'm okay. And I have the flashlight again. But it was pretty scary. But the spirit helped me out. And I could have died. So, yeah. That's how that goes. So we finally run back. We went back to the campsite where everybody was. 2 of them were gone. There was only one of the friends left there, sitting there, kind of staring off into space, you know. Like, hey, are you okay? What's wrong? What's wrong? Are you okay? And they just didn't answer us. And we're like, where did, we'll say, Tom and Sally go? Where did Tom and Sally go? You know, where are they? And he's like, just dead straight stare. And just points that way. And we're like, they went that way? And, you know, he's just dead face staring like as if he's possessed or something. I don't know what happened to him. And so we head out to see where the other 2 girls went. We were calling their names. We couldn't hear anything until finally there they were. We saw them. They were just sitting there and they had found that little small lake. Here they were, just sitting there by this lake. And I asked them, are you okay? Everything cool? And they're like, yeah, we found the lake, da da da. And yeah, they were there like putting their feet in it, letting their feet get cool. I don't know, it was a strange experience, you know, like just really strange, and some of it just can't be explained. So those were just some of the experiences that we had at the old haunted Death Bridge. We did at some point hear footsteps. We did hear, you know, like voices and sounds and all types of different things. Here's the most freakiest part of it all, okay? We had the recorders on, video cameras. We had one video camera set up by the campfire. I just really wish that what I'm about to say isn't true, but it is. When we got back and was checking through those tapes, there was nothing there. I mean, it was a recording of like 6 hours of just nothing but blackness. Like no sound, no video, no nothing. It was just completely solid black. You couldn't hear anything. You couldn't obviously see anything. We couldn't understand what happened. And we had the camera. We also had our audio recorder, which, you know, neither one picked up anything. And I just couldn't believe it because, you know, the camera was sitting by the campfire. The audio recorder was on me the entire time, on record. So we're sitting here trying to shuffle through 6 hours of tape, hoping that something would have been caught or something may have been able to peer through, but there was nothing. So yeah, I want to thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll share more paranormal stuff with you soon. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time. Bye.